Hi, coming on here to record, hopefully able to upload this week's energy update. I have been kind of absent on here. That has been purposeful. I'm learning, it's a hard lesson really, but I'm learning that things take time and our time is precious. There's a time for something, there's a time for another something. And I do feel like I have two careers, nursing and then my psychic abilities. And then while I utilize both, sometimes one will take precedence over the other and one supports the other. And they deserve to have attention. So I am still doing readings. I'm just slowing down on the business growth for now. So having said that, we are calling our highest level guides and our honorable ancestors, as well as any ascended masters or deities that would like to join in. We'll also invite the archangels to provide guidance and insight. What's to come for this week for the collective. Kind reminder, take what resonates and leave the rest. This is a general reading. If you're interested in having a more personal reading, let me know. All right, so guys, what is the theme of the week? Six of Swords. What is our subconscious bringing up? The Chariot. What is a challenge for this week? The High Priestess. And what is the outcome, or where are we headed here? The Nine of Cups. Okay. Bottom of the deck we have, it's interesting, we have the Nine of Swords and then we have this Four of Swords. So we're struggling with rest. We're struggling with, it's like I try to sleep and I carve time out for myself, and when I do so, I am confronted by all the things that about myself or what someone else said or what I've said or what's happened or what's been done, and it's plaguing me. And that's the energy that's coming through. So the theme of the week is this Six of Swords. We're moving away. We're moving on. We're moving away. You know, my guys just said we're being forced to. The free will is a fickle thing, because if you really want to argue it, it goes both ways. But I feel with this Six of Swords is we have argued this enough. It's almost like it's that proverbial saying of, I mean, you're beating a dead horse. That's what's coming to mind. Like you've argued for this and you've expanded for this as long as you can, and you're moving on. I notice, I often find that when we are moving on, we don't always see where we're headed, especially with the Six of Swords. And there can be a lot of anxiety with moving on. I can tell you personally, in my professional nursing career, I am moving on from one facility to another, and that has required and continues to require an immense amount of grief, and I'm not entirely sure as to where I'm headed. I have an idea as to where I'm headed. I have basic ideas, but I don't have the experience of it. And this is where the distinction comes in. We may have a lot of ideas or conceived notions as to how something functions or how something may feel, but the experience of it is an entirely different thing. You know, we can talk about grief until we experience grief. We can talk about loss until we experience loss. And I often find this when it comes to death. You know, we theoretically know that at some point in our lives there's an end to it, and that often gives it a form of meaning, whether we understand that or not. But when it becomes a lot more, it's no longer theoretical. Now it's very close to home. It changes your perspective, and it's because you're now experiencing it. And as human beings, we're here to experience things, and I feel like we often take that for granted, or the overwhelming amount of experiences that we're going through right now, as TikTok likes to say, like late stage capitalism, can make those experiences and the amount of stimuli that we receive quite overwhelming. Where we're headed, I'll tell you, we have two major arcanas here, because the subconscious things that are happening is there's this drive towards moving forward. There's a drive, there's a sense of, I am not sure about this. I have some fear around this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And you're being I can't pronounce this, I'm sorry. You're being pushed forward. You're propelling yourself forward. There's an inner drive that's happening here. There's something you've said yes to, subconsciously and now consciously, that's helping you move forward, that's helping you feel like you're regaining some sense of control in your life, that's helping you kind of process and look at things from a different perspective. And I feel like this is manifesting in many ways as like people are being asked to go back to the office, and people are like, no, I'm not going back to the office. I'm going to do remote working because I'm a lot more, it's easier for my mental health and things like that. We're starting to prioritize the fact that we're human, and the demands that are asked of us are not always human. And I think of all the things that I have to do in a given day, and sometimes it's too much. And so what I do, I distract myself through TikTok. Today I binge watched Downton Abbey, and it helped regulate my nervous system. And sometimes you need that, but it also makes you realize, like, shit, yeah, sometimes I do too much. But this is a more focused doing. This is again, I feel like this is a decision that you have made. And while there might be a lot of emotion around it, there might be a lot of things around it, the decision is valid. The decision needed to happen. You needed to do this for yourself. And I don't think you came to this conclusion easily. And moving forward may be scary as fuck, but that's what you need to do. And the advice or the challenge here is to trust your intuition. I mean, the High Priestess and the Chariot are major arcanas. This is major energy. These are not easy lessons. This is not easy energy to contain or have to hold. Again, being stuck in this duality. I mean, we have the dark and the light pillars of, there's a shadow aspect to everything that we do. There's a light aspect to everything that we do. Even if you're making the right decision, that does not always mean it's the easy decision. It does not always mean the easy outcome either. We're fooled to think, and it's something I have to remind myself, just because you think you're doing everything right does not mean that the outcome is going to be of ease. And we take the ease when it arrives, but the outcome may not always be of ease. And which is why something my guides tell me, you can have anything you want, Daniela, but it does not mean you can hold everything at once. And I find comfort in that I get to enjoy things as they come, and I get to enjoy the fruits of my labor, the fruits of my manifestation, the fruits of what my ancestors continue to give me, one at a time or two at a time, or whatever it is that I'm able to hold. And some days maybe I'm not able to hold much, and that's okay. And even if I've done everything right, it is not going to absolve me of still facing the challenges that come from just being human. But that differs from being asked to do far more than we should. And we're finding balance, or we're finding distinction through that. This is all headed towards a certain amount of fulfillment, an emotional fulfillment, a certain amount of, even though this may not be easy, and maybe even especially having to trust yourself, like, this is difficult. Like, learning to trust your intuition takes a lot of vulnerability, and we don't talk about that, what that entails. Like, even I myself don't always know. I just know it feels vulnerable, it feels raw, it feels open. When I trust my intuition, when I make those decisions that feel risky, that may threaten my sense of safety, may threaten my sense of comfort, or may shake my sense of comfort, but there's a huge payout that arises from that. And again, it does not mean that everything is going to be perfect, because it's not meant to, but it doesn't mean it's not fulfilling. And even if it's hard, or at times may be challenging, it does not mean it's not fulfilling. Yeah, my guides are really highlighting this as having the courage to make the decisions that you're being led to make, having the courage to listen to your own needs, to listen to yourself and go, this really sucks, and I wish I could stay here, I wish I could do this, but I can't anymore, and the ruse is up, and you've chosen to move on, and you've chosen to do whatever, and being scared shitless by doing it anyway has a huge reward. And this reward we may not see. And my guides are also, really my ancestors are highlighting, we don't always do things for ourselves. And we don't always do things for us to experience in this lifetime. We don't keep track of that. That's a very spiritual sort of foundation. I think about legacy, and not just in terms of what I get to experience if I choose to reincarnate again, but also what my child and my child's child, if she chooses to have children, will experience, or what my family will experience, or what my lineage will experience, or what my ancestors, if they choose to reincarnate, will experience. So it's a form of legacy, but I also feel like this is you also receiving or having the chance to getting that positive feedback from your own ancestors, from your own spiritual team, about the fact that you're trusting yourself to get it right or to get it wrong, but you've made a decision for yourself, for your well-being, with the information that you have now, to move on for where it is that you are. Whether you're doing so willingly, or you're doing so subconsciously, but you're doing it anyway. And that is to be rewarded, and is going to be rewarded. So major energy this week, major changes. If you're able to pace yourself, pace yourself. If you're able, whatever it is that helps you calm your nervous system, do so. But yeah, so I'm going to end it there. Let me know how this reading resonates. I am available next week, Thursday and Friday, if you want to have a one-on-one reading with me. Otherwise, I wish you all a very happy week.